I'm Ray Mayron, and you are listening to Jetstream. And I just want to tell you, I've got a very special guest here in the studio. And before we get started, I actually have to read, according to our schedule, what's called a promo. Well, this particular promo might be very appropriate for us once you hear who's here. So here we go. The thoughts, ideas, and opinions expressed by our announcers, artists, or guests featured in our programming do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Mana'o Radio in general.
Oh, my God.
Mana'o Radio welcomes your thoughts and invites you to share by contacting us at 808-242-KMNO. That's 808-242-5666, or by email at inquiries@manaoradio.com.
But please don't sue us because we're not responsible.
I thought that was the perfect disclaimer for my guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to have my friend and mentor and DJ extraordinaire. I'll tell him a little bit more about you in a second, but it's Charles Laquadera. He's back. Yay!
Hey, thank you, Ray. It's great to be here. This is amazing. I haven't been in front of a microphone, God, since COVID started. Long time.
Yeah.
But I remember working here. I think I got in trouble. I forget what I did, but I think I talked too fast one day. I was talking too fast, and whoever was the program director at the time, I'm sure he's long gone, but he said, "You're talking too fast. You sound like one of them city boys. Slow it down." This is what I heard him say, but he didn't say it, was this is a hippie radio station. Everybody's laid back. They're smoking, and if you're talking fast like a city boy, like from Oahu or whatever your Boston roots are, we don't want any of that here. And so I didn't mean to talk fast, but I just was excited one day about some song I was going to play, so I got in trouble. But I think everything's changed now, and sounds wonderful listening to you. And I'm looking at all your CDs that you have. Let me tell you something about Ray Mayron. I've known him for 100 years.
Oh, here we go.
And you have to know, you people who are listening to him or who have been listening to him for a long time, there's stuff about him that you don't know that I want to fill you in about. And it's
I can always cut your mic.
Because Ray's very shy about his life and personal stuff. But I got to tell you, now again, I'm paraphrasing. This is what Ray, if you had died before me somehow and I were doing your obit, I might be lying here, but this is what I remember. And this is the guy you're listening to, Ray Mayron. He was brought up, his dad was harsh, and his dad insisted that he become a doctor. So Ray went along with he didn't have much choice. He went along with his dad. He became a doctor. He was working emergency here here on Maui for years as a doctor, but he really, really, really always wanted to be a pilot. So at the ripe old age of whatever, which is much too old to be a pilot, Ray decided to become a pilot for American Airlines, I believe it was. And so he does all the stuff. And of course, in American Airlines and most airlines, you can't, at whatever age Ray finally decided to do this he was too old to become whatever you call the main pilot. So he became a co-pilot. And that's what he did for years and years. But when I met Ray, he said, "Charles, not only do I not want to be a doctor, but I'm not sure I even want to be a pilot. What I want to be, Charles, is a disc jockey." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I want to be a disc jockey. I want to play records. I love friggin' music." And that was the start. And I guess at the time, Ray, you can fill me in here, but I think at the time I was working somewhere, whether it was at WBCN or KPBC or Mana'o Radio, wherever I was, I brought you in and showed you the board, and that's how you get started in radio, I think. Am I close to?
That's a bit of revisionist history.
That's how I remember it. So don't die before me, because that's what people are going to hear.
Oh, gosh.
What was the truth about? Where did I miss?
Let's pick up on the DJ part. You came over to my house for a dinner party, and I had been listening to you on Mana'o Radio. At that point, you were doing your Wednesday morning shows, and I I thought you were great. I had no idea who you were, though. That you were famous.
Well,
Seriously.
famous in Boston, big fish in a little ocean,
Well,
whatever, little pond, yeah.
Charles is being very. Oh, how shall I say? Well, you know what I mean. But modest. But anybody. Okay, just to back up, Charles was huge in the Boston market from 1969 to 1999. And anybody I meet from the Boston area, and I say, "Do you know Charles Laguardia?" They're like, "Oh, what? Of course, I grew up on that guy."
If they're over 30.
Yeah, I used to.
right.
I used to listen to music and get stoned listening to Charles.
Yeah.
So think Howard Stern or Imus of Boston there, and that's the truth. So anyway, but I digress. No, not really. I want people to know that who don't know you. So you were very kind after this party. You said, "Hey, if you ever want to stop by the station, feel free." And I thought, wow, this is really cool. This famous DJ is asking me to come over to the radio station. I've never been in a radio station, and the rest is history.
Yeah, well, you impressed me with your love of music. I mean, you got to know everybody who's listening to Ray. Well, you probably already do know that because you hear him on the radio. But he's so dedicated and so into it and loves it so much. I mean, I loved radio. I still do. We all love music, but believe me, none of us love music or radio as much as Ray Marin. So trust me on that. This guy, it just lives for this board and working the music and turning you on to. And I'm looking at his CDs here. He's got all these. They still use CDs. These things are like going to be obsolete. But anyway, I'm looking at all Ray's CDs, and some of the songs are. Oh my God! There's
Charles,
a song on here I'd like to play. Can I make a request?
Absolutely. And here's the thing: those are your CDs. You gave me a box of CDs.
Oh, no wonder I like them. I'm thinking, boy, this guy's got great taste in music. Yeah. Oh, so I see. So these are my CDs you brought out just because I was going to be here.
Yeah, I thought you might want to play some of them.
Can I say BASTID and make it with a Boston accent? You bastard. Anyway, so now I'm thinking, Ray has great taste in music, but it was actually my stuff. So can I Come Back to Sorrento right here and introduce it? Are you okay
Absolutely.
with that?
We can play whatever
now,
we
this
want.
is a song, I don't know how many of you out there are interested in jazz or big band stuff, but way back when I was growing up, I was a big fan of Stan Kenton. And Stan Kenton, he had like a theme song called "Artistry in Rhythm," which actually eventually, "Artistry in Rhythm" became the same melody as Lawrence of Arabia, which also became the same melody. I'm trying to think of the group, the name of the group that actually stole his theme song and made it into a hit song. But I'll think of it later. Because anyway, there's another group that and I probably have it in one of these CDs. Anyway, I want to play the Stan Kenton song called "Come Back to Sorrento." Okay, so it should be in there. Where is it?
Let's see. Okay.
I got it?
Here we go.
Okay, and before we play it, I want to introduce it. So, Come Back to Sorrento. Stan Kenton had a tenor sax player. He had an alto sax player named Boots Mazzulli, who is from my hometown of Milford, Massachusetts. But he also had a tenor sax player. The guy could barely speak English. His name was Vito Musso, and he played tenor sax, and the way he played it was so rich. And what he'd do in this arrangement you're going to hear, he'll start off with kind of an Italian song called "Come Back to Sorrento," and it goes da 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 da, and it's almost like you are on the streets of Italy or Sicily, and you're walking along, and everything is so laid back and wonderful, and you're looking at the olive trees and stuff, and the music's going, and then all of a sudden you come upon a band that's playing, and they're playing like wicked. I mean, these guys are hopping. And so Vito Musso goes from this slow ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, until in the middle of the song you'll hear some kind of a drum beat, and then Vito just takes off. So let's listen to it. Come Back to Sorrento, and get ready for it in the middle.
You're on.
Vito Musso. Yeah, like that, huh?
Awesome.
Right in the middle. He just kind of kicked some serious butt there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love the idea that that you're letting me sit in. So I guess we could call it my 100. Everyone has their favorite songs. I have like a top 100 favorite songs of all time, and the more I think about it, the more that changes a lot, depending on my mood. So, but the song that I want to play now is one of my top 100 greatest songs of all time. And it's kind of, how can I say it? It definitely is rock and roll, but also it's, do you know what the expression, I don't even know if they still have that because I'm so old, I remember stuff. A torch song, you know what a torch song is, Ray?
No.
A torch song. Torch song was a phrase that you used for songs where you got dumped, where somebody dumps you.
Okay.
Like you're in love, and all of a sudden one day she says, "I don't love you anymore. Can we still be just friends?" And you go, "Freak, no, I don't want to just be you." And it just breaks your heart because you have been dumped. It's like worse than being fired from a job. And it's like, and they have all these torch songs, and two of my favorite torch songs of all time I want to play back to back. But you know what? How fast could you get a song called "I Miss You So" by Chris Cornell? How fast could you get that if I talk for 1 minute? Would you be able to get it within 1 minute, or do I have to start with this first song? What would be better for you?
I would start with this one.
Start with you chicken.
Chris Connor's not like bells aren't going off in my head.
You can get on the internet.
I will.
Can't you do YouTube right now? Just go YouTube, Chris Cornell, "I Miss You So." Get it right. Play it right within 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you do it within 1 second?
No, not within 1 second though.
Oh
but
my God!
You're putting the pressure on.
Okay,
here.
so
I'm sweating.
So what we're gonna do is you have to make believe that you did not hear the song first. You heard this song second, but because the first song I would play would be Chris Cornell doing what I feel is the ultimate torch song. It's called "I Miss You So," and it is devastatingly, heartbreakingly, just wonderful. And it's by Chris Cornell, and it's called "I Miss You So." And she says, something like, she starts, "Those happy hours I spent with you, that afterglow." But anyway, I don't want. I mean, she does it better than I do. So there's that song would be what I'd like to start off with. And Ray now is frantically looking for the song "I Miss You So" by Chris Cornell. And then I want to follow it with the updated, the rock and roll torch song, the best torch song of all time, which actually is by Led Zeppelin. So it's weird because, here's Chris Cornell doing something that goes back probably, I'm thinking maybe in the late 40s or the 50s. And the song is when you listen to it, you'll cry with her because she is so devastatingly beautiful when she sings it. And then what I would do normally, if we could get that song ahead of time, is I would play that song first, and then I would follow it with the rock and roll modern version. So ladies and gentlemen, Ray Maven has done it. He has found this. I want you to listen closely and just break your heart with Chris Cornell, and we're going to go right into Led Zeppelin torch song right after that without any breaks. So go for it. Chris, take it away. Nope, that's not it. It's a slower song, right?
No, it's the YouTube commercial. Dang.
Oh, leave it on then. We'll talk over the commercial.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got to get the opening. It's wonderful.
Led Zeppelin there. Babe, I'm going to leave you. I just learned what a torch song is from Charles. When you get burned when a relationship ends.
You get dumped. I've been dumped. She dumped me.
And before that, we heard Chris Cornell with "I Miss You So." And if you just tuned in, I'm with Charles Laquadera. He is my mentor. He got me on at Manaa Radio, so I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for him. And I thank you.
That was 100 years ago.
It feels that way.
I'm looking at the board you're working here, the little console. It looks all these red lights and orange lights. I'm thinking, did I really know how to work these things?
When you were here, the one that we had was unbelievable. It was so old that you'd move a slider, and all of a sudden it would, like a spark would come out, and it would make this pop sound, and you'd be like,
smoke.
"Whoa!"
Yeah.
We
And then all of a sudden, Arthur Brown would sing, "I am the Lord of Fire."
Okay, we are looking at high noon throughout the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. You're tuned to listener-supported Mana'o Radio, KMNO Wailuku, celebrating our 20th anniversary at 91.7 FM on Maui, and streaming worldwide at mana'oradio.com through the generosity of Dowling Company. You're listening to Jetstream, and my show is underwritten by Blue Ginger. We thank them for their generosity and support. More information is available at blueginger.com, and it's also underwritten by Sherry Reeve Gallery. And you can check out more information at sreeve.com. So a big mahalo to Becky and Sherry for underwriting this program. And normally we have the Feature Story News on Monday through Friday, but on the weekends we don't have it, and I usually do the weather. So I'm going to go ahead and do the weather forecast right now.
Sherry Schumer has the night off.
But the weather report rolls on, and we have a special guest in the Weather Center tonight.
Thanks for the throw there, Howard. By the way, you're terrific, you know. With that talent and that haircut, you're really on a rocket to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Okay, let's see what our satellite is telling us today. Oh, little clouds are coming into the sky. Oh, poor Hawaii. You might have a cloud or two. Screw you, Hawaii. Okay, tonight, what is this? Evening clouds, and yes, mostly dry and pleasant. Okay, dry and pleasant. That's an inherent contradiction, isn't it? For me it is. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yes. And then what have we got? Oh no! Light winds! Light winds! What will Hawaii do? Close the schools! I'm just going to say what everyone else in America is thinking. Hawaii, you're a pussy! Howard, don't worry about the light winds. Hurricane Isabel couldn't mess up your hair. Okay, here's the 5-day forecast. Oh, look what we've got. Warm, that's interesting news. Humid, that's good for your hair, anchor guy. You can save on Aquanet that day. And then we got what here? We got the cloudy. Oh no, cloudy. Oh no, here's another cloud. It's Armageddon for Hawaii. Golden power. Oh, what are we going to do? I can't look. I can't look. Damn it. Hawaii's about to suffer. Clouds everywhere. This entire state is threatened with 3 full days of shade. Back to you.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty then, so there's the weather for Hawaii for today here on Mana'o Radio. We only bring you the best. Okay. Well, speaking of here at Mana'o Radio, I'm with Charles Laquadera, and we have a very strict policy about not endorsing any political candidates or playing any political ads, but the election is just around the corner, just a few days away. And when I heard this guy's political ad, I just thought he's incredible. And
You thought we got to vote for this guy.
I absolutely, and I'm going to go out on a limb.
Oh boy! I hope we don't get fired or fined by the FCC, Ray. This is awful, ladies and gentlemen. Ray Mayron is taking a big chance here by playing. You're going to do it?
I love this guy.
You're going to do it?
Yeah, we're going to do it.
I don't know, man. It's your show. Hi, everybody. My name is Dwayne Glasscock. I don't know anything about this guy.
But, Charles, you always used to go out on the limb politically when you were in Boston. That's what I hear. Here we go.
I'm Doug LaDouche, and I approve this ad. When I look around, I see a lot of problems, like the economy, unemployment, people out of work, the economy, and people losing their jobs because of the economy. It seems like a lot of times when politicians try to fix things, they only make them worse. People ask me, Doug LaDouche, if elected, how would you solve these problems? I know when I have problems, a lot of times if I ignore them, they go away. Like my first wife, Vicky. I ignored her, and she went away. I'm Doug LaDouche, and I promise if elected, I will do nothing to make things worse. I'm Doug LaDouche, and I go to church.
Paid for by the Doug LaDouche for Congress Committee.
I'm Doug LaDouche, and I approve this ad. Many people ask me, Doug LaDouche, why are you running for office? I tell them I've got issues I care deeply about. Lots of people ask me, Doug LaDouche, how do you feel about race relations? When I see people, I see colorblind. For example, if you know me, you know I have given lots of money to strippers, be they black, white, yellow, or fat. If elected, I will represent each and every one of you, whether you're a funny color or just regular. I'm Doug LaDouche. Do me a favor in November and pull my lever.
Paid for by the Doug LaDouche for Congress Committee.
Neil Young, already great. That's us, America. Before that, Mark Knopfler with Do America, and Willie Nelson, Vote 'em Out. Not necessarily saying that, but get out and vote. That's the message.
Vote red, vote blue. It don't matter. We love you. Just vote. Yeah, that would be great.
That's Charles Laquadera. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Ray Mayron. You're listening to the Jetstream, and I have my guest and mentor, Charles Laquadera, here.
And Ray said that I could actually I could pick a novelty song. And so I'm going to pick the next two songs because Ray's letting me do that. And one of them is we're going to start off with a novelty song that, God, it's older than me, and I'm like 100 years old. So this song goes way, way back to when I was a kid listening to it. And I never knew what this song was about. And to this day, I'll hear this. What's called that noise in the background, Ray? I'm hearing
A little hum. Yeah, it might be the air conditioner.
I'm hearing voices. I'm wondering, is it my?
Oh, it might be your phone.
Be my phone.
Your phone's probably on.
Okay, hold on. Let me
got
turn
two
my
channels
phone
going
on.
at once there.
Oh my God. Okay, do not disturb.
I've never done that.
Yeah. So, the two songs. I want to start off with this weird novelty song from way back, probably in the 50s. I never figured out what it was about, but it's something about going into a subway tunnel with the weirdest person you ever could want to know, and you're a young girl, and I don't know how this young girl managed to find herself walking in this dark subway tunnel. And the way it ends, I'm going to just do a spoiler here. The way it ends with her saying his name, and then there's dead air, and your mind can only go, well, what just happened? Did the subway train come? Did the song just end? What, did they both die? Anyway, I'm going to go from that song, which I never figured out, and you can try to figure it out if you want, into, let's put it this way. We're going to go from the subway to the airport, and we're going to take it off from there. So let's start with this song called Ambrose, right here on Mana'o Radio.
Oh, yeah. That was Charles Laquadera at his finest. First, before we talk about the actual pieces, I want to say that you are the master at segues, and this is something I work on. It's like trying to get the perfect landing when you're landing a plane. And I don't know if you just caught that segue between the Moody Blues and the Doors. Both were playing simultaneously at the end. And, oh, Charles, You're the master. It was perfect. I said, blank me. That is incredible.
I like that word segue. It's such a sweet word. I love that. I think it's going to be the word of the day.
I'm
segue.
sorry. I had you off for a second there.
I like the word segue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Word of the day, segue. As we segue from one situation into another, here we are in, the 5th of November. By the way, you have to play Remember by John Lennon
Yeah.
before your show is over today, because
Okay.
Remember by John Lennon. I'm hearing music again. Is this my phone doing
It's
this?
your phone doing it.
God,
You're,
I hate this. Oh,
you're multitasking.
my phone is playing Remember by John Lennon. You have to play it, Ray, because this is a political time in the United States, and politics is very insane all over the world right now. And John Lennon has a song called Remember, and the last line of the song Remember by John Lennon is a line called, he says, "Remember the 5th of November." And then there's an explosion.
Oh, wow.
And that signifies that way back in England sometime, anyone who's into English history and politics knows there was a guy named Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes was apparently his motive, his one motive was to blow up Parliament or to be an insurrectionist in England, which is so topical today. And Guy Fawkes was about to blow up the English Parliament. He had the bomb and everything, and I guess he got stopped. He got shot down before he had a chance to do it. But John Lennon, apparently in this song, is taking the side of Guy Fawkes and saying, "Remember, the 5th of November," and that's how it ends. And it's a song called Remember, and you should play it today because it would be a wonderful song. And the way I would do it, if I were you, is if, talking about segues, is the Lennon explosion at the end of that song goes like this, and that's it. But what you might want to try to do is make a segue from that into a sound effect. Do you have sound effects here? Of an atomic bomb.
Oh.
So if you could go from John Lennon going, "Remember the 5th of November," and just make it so if you can't do it, just have the audience make believe it's happening.
Yeah.
And that'll do it.
I'll tell them what to think.
Anyway, that's my last request, and I want to say goodbye and thank you so much for letting me sit in with you, Ray. It's always a pleasure. You are so wonderfully dedicated to the music and stuff. I mean, you're really... my dad used to say, this is kind of stupid now, but he'd say, "God threw away the mold when he made you." And that's the way I feel about you and your wonderful dedication and love of music. I just get energized when I come here. I haven't done any of this crap for years, and I sit down with you, and all of a sudden I want to start making segues. And Ray, listen to this, let's do this, and wanting to do music with you. So I think the audience out here at Monotone Radio is lucky to have you. And
Oh, Charles, thanks. You are way too kind. You are a legend and coming.
legend in my own mind.
No,
Anyway.
absolutely. So thank you so much. It's been a real honor to have you here and a blast. I've had such a good time.
Take care. I'm going to go have some lunch now, and I'll be thinking of you.
And atomic bombs. Okay. Take care, buddy.